All right, we got the Rat Rod Plymouth build, part number 7, I believe it would be. So I'll show you the motor in a second. I've got that actually cranked up and tested and running right now. And you can see all my boxes right here showed up from Heidts. So I ordered the entire front end independent front suspension kit Mustang II with big brakes and the rest of the stuff. So I'll just run across this real quick here. These are the Ford Taurus front calipers drilled to a Chevy bolt pattern. My nice little Willwood 4 caliper or 4 piston calipers. Springs, I think these are about $350 a piece right here as far as the spring weight is concerned. Power rack and pinion steering, little cheapo shocks, bearings, all the nuts and bolts, and moving on across here, this is the Heidts Mustang II cross member right here, and you can see I've started doing some measurements on here. That's actually spindle width right here, very important because I want to try to slam this Plymouth to the ground. So this is the wall strength is about 5 millimeters here. This will go right here. This will be the notch, except I'll make these nice and neat once I actually get in here. And instead of using a 12 right here, 12 millimeter or 12 centimeter, I'm going to go with 14 and notch on the bottom. I just like the little extra strength on here. And then again, this is center line, and all the parts are with it. Here are my drop spindles right here. I've assembled these in my lifetime before, so that shouldn't be a problem at all. Upper control arms, A's, and then the lower ones right here. And the kit is complete. Here's the big bolts that go across the bottom, and that's actually the least of my problems right here. So what I'm going to do right now is crank up the little small block, 1963 according to the casting numbers on it, 283. It's a real 283, and I got this thing for free, and I probably dumped about $1,000, if not a little bit more money into it right now, just for getting it ready to put into the Plymouth on a temporary basis. I'm also going to take the 700 R4, and I'm going to connect that to the back of that 283 right now, just for a temporary basis. There's my 700 R4, and you can see my panhard bar and my trailing arms right here. I went ahead and got the big long bolts right here because I go all the way through the frame, and I got the exact size. There are my coilovers in the back. I think the spring rate on those is about 275. The seats you guys saw in the last video, made them black, and I'm just waiting for the weather to get a little bit north so I can set them out in the sun and put a little saddle soap on them, make them nice and smooth. Anyway, all my boxes, so go ahead and crank up this little 283 right now. I'll do a nice little pan around first while it's quiet. So, new fuel pump, new headers, new starter, valve covers from Caltech, my little ignition switch, brand new HEI distributor, nice little valve cover. I picked up the Turkey Run 2013, and brand new carburetor from Demon. This is a 625. I know people try to put 750s on little small block Chevys. Way overkill unless you got this thing screaming at about 8,000 RPM, which is not the case here. Intake manifold, I just repurposed this one. You reuse it and polish it up again. Brand new water pump, brand new alternator, the 100 amp from Summit Racing. Pressed on a new harmonic balancer after I put a new timing chain on the bottom of it, and the rollers too, double roller timing chain. And then El Cheapo cover gasket on it. New aluminum pulleys, and then my power steering pump mount on this side right here. So this thing's, it's a clean little motor, new wires, new plugs, and I'll just go on around here one more time. I'll check my oil pressure when I crank this thing up, and timing I got set right now to about 8 degrees. So before I crank this thing up, put a couple of these things together in my life. Every now and then shit happens, so if you ever crank one of these things up initially and you get the big giant flame coming out the top right here, you're not on the #1 compression stroke. Well, I found that out. So after about 2 turns on the engine, it smoked up, so you either got a stuck intake valve, which is probably not the case here. Pull this thing off on the compression stroke by going to the #1 cylinder right here, pull it out, put your thumb in it, take off your ignition wire right here so the damn thing doesn't crank up, and put your thumb on it, and on the compression stroke, pull this thing off, and sure enough, it was pointing 180 degrees out. That's what basically that means. So pull the HEI back up, flip it 180 degrees, get it pointing generally to the #1 piston right here. And I tell you what, once I did this thing, cranked up and runs like a dream right now. I got it set again. 8 degrees before top dead center. So I'll go ahead and crank this thing up for a second. So, thing runs fine, good oil pressure, and before you laugh at my hillbilly Home Depot return valve here, what it is basically about $4 or $5 worth of parts. Drill yourself a little bitty hole right here, and then water can basically circle around this thing. So you don't want to run these water pumps without any water in them, and also you definitely don't want to run a small block Chevy. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 minutes will be fine, but I let this thing run about 4 or 5 minutes the other day, and it just keeps the inside of the engine cool and everything. Got good oil pressure, so that's basically it. So that's it. This will be Rat Rod Plymouth build number 7, I believe it is, and the motor's running smooth right now. So I'll just disconnect everything, push it back underneath there, bolt the 700 R4 to in the next couple of days, and then next weekend I should be welding the frame together for this thing with all those parts on my bench over there. Take care. Bye-bye.